we all would introspect. I request each and every one of you, take your time and then go into your flashback and then think, why did you join Toastmasters? What was one thing you were afraid of and you thought you would improve upon that, and that is why you joined Toastmasters? And then think about it. Were you able to overcome that fear, be it fear of speaking in front of a large public? I was always confident to speak, but then whenever I used to come on stage, I spoke, but my hands used to shiver when my hands were at the back. And there was a shivering in my voice as well. So I have overcome that fear. So today, on our milestone meeting of Bane Toastmasters Club, I would request you all to go back why you joined Toastmasters, and then you'll feel happy that you have come a long way in your Toastmasters journey, like we, Bane Toastmasters Club, have come. Not only this 200th meeting, but we have many milestones. Winning those awards of Diamond Club Award or be it Beat the Clock Award. We have worked hard. All the members have worked hard, including the XCOM members, and we were able to bring glories and awards to our club. So today, I request you all to take pledge again that we would be doing good and better to make us feel proud of Bane members, a club which everyone knows and a club that is in good standing. So I welcome you all again, and I would like to welcome our so we have a lot of guests here, and I'm so delighted to see more than 50 participants here, and it would be a little difficult to get introduction of all the Toastmasters here. So I acknowledge presence of all the district officers, the area directors and division directors and officers and the Toastmasters who have joined from across the district. So I welcome you all on our milestone meeting. And with this, now I would like to call and give the control to someone who is so persuasive and who is so good and so charming in speaking that even he can send you even he has that persuasive skill that if he has a rotten egg, he can send that also to you. So let us welcome our immediate past president, our area director, Toastmaster Sanjay R.
Thank you so much. Am I audible? Can I have a thumbs up? All right. Am I visible?
Yes.
Okay, great. I welcome you all to the 200th meeting of Bane Toastmasters Club. Yes, it is indeed another milestone for us. In a few moments, we will have someone who's going to join us and enlighten us on the values of leadership. May I request Ganesh to stop sharing the screen? I think Ganesh is sharing the screen. All right, we are done. All right, just one moment. Has Aditya joined the meeting yet?
Sanjay, your voice is not very clear.
My voice is not clear?
Now it is better.
Allow me one moment, please.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, it's better, Sanjay.
Okay, all right, fantastic. Well, like rightly mentioned by Tanisha, we all celebrate milestones because it takes a lot of effort of a lot of members with a common interest to get to milestones. Well, all the travel freaks here would agree with me if I tell you you definitely like clicking photographs at every milestone. Well, 100 kilometers or 200 kilometers, and probably when you're reaching the destination. And today, we at Bane Toastmasters Club have reached another milestone. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone, right from the members who began this community in the Bane vicinity. Well, it was around 3 years back, over 3 years, I think it's going to be 4 years soon, that the Bane Toastmasters Club was chartered. And ever since, it has been producing leaders and creating history. Well, if I talk about creating history, we recently created history by being the first club in District 98 to conduct an online meeting. I think that deserves a round of applause. Well, now that was the time I had. For the next 45 minutes, we are going to have someone who has been a champion speaker. Well, I'm very proud to say that he's a homegrown champion. Our own member from the Mumbai Toastmasters Club, who is represented at the World Championship of Public Speaking not just once, but twice, in the year 2015 and in the year 2017, when he also won the second place in the year 2015. I was fortunate enough to witness this person in November 2017 in the semi-annual district conference of District 92. I remember him imitating how Hans Zimmer composed the music for Interstellar. And the title of the education session that he conducted that day was Dissolve the Notes. A management. I will just mute everyone. All right. Am I audible right now?
Sanjay, it is very low right now. Can't hear you.
Your voice is breaking.
Okay, just allow me.
Is it better now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, very clearly.
Okay, all right, great. Well, for the next 45 minutes, we have someone who's a management consultant, an award-winning speaker, an executive coach, and a distinguished Toastmaster. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for distinguished Toastmaster Aditya Maheswaran.
All right, thank you so much, Sanjay. It's a pleasure to be here. Can you hear me, Sanjay?
Yes, Aditya.
All right, fantastic. Firstly, thanks for inviting me here to your session, and congratulations to your club for being the pioneers, as I heard from you now, to transition to online Toastmaster meetings. In fact, sometimes having attended and being part of so many Toastmaster meetings, contests, conferences online in the last 2 weeks across the world, the US, Singapore, Middle East, Europe, and where I live now, London. I sometimes wonder whether Ralph C. Smedley, our founder in 1924, would have ever thought that we would take his idea of Toastmaster meetings in our own houses using a webcam. But that's experimentation and innovation all about, isn't it? So congratulations to your club and thanks for inviting me here. I was, in the few minutes I had when you were introducing me, I was scrolling through some names, and it's lovely to see familiar names and familiar faces as well for those of you on webcam. It wasn't too far ago that I was still in Mumbai. It's been a year and a half now since I moved out of India. Today's format is going to be pretty interactive. I don't know whether you introduced that to them yet, Sanjay, but I'm going to limit my speaking to 10-15 minutes to begin with. And then we're going to go into some kind of interaction so that there is more energy that flows and not just one side. All right, so our topic of discussion today is leadership. While public speaking is something that I'm very passionate about, leadership is something which is my bread and butter because I'm a management consultant focusing on leadership development for the last decade or so. My job is to work with C-suite people and all through the organization to ensure that the leadership pipeline, the leadership bench strength is strong. So the job involves what defines leadership, what creates better leaders than others. So it's very interesting. It combines many sciences. What I'm going to offer you today in a small 10-minute package is not the typical skills or competencies that you hear as important for leaders. Because who doesn't know among the 66 people here in the audience what is a good leader? All of us can define good leaders, isn't it? A leader should show empathy, a leader should be charismatic, a leader should be courageous, a leader should be resilient. We all know that. But why is our own knowledge not coming to save us when we need it the most? That's a question which always intrigues me. All of us can define a good leader? Why are so few of us able to be good leaders? That's the knowledge wisdom gap, as usual. Because all of us revert to our inherent personality when we get out of a training program. It's those 1 or 2 days or these sessions that are very inspiring. So let's talk about something which is a little deeper than just behaviors or skills. The moment we learn a new skill, we apply it for a week, but we go back to who we are, isn't it? And you would have seen leaders around you, your club, your district, your offices, where people remain who they are, or probably get worse. That second law of thermodynamics. Things only go towards disorder, not towards order. But so let's see where we can tackle this problem, which may help us gain some traction in our own lives as leaders and in people around us. What I've realized as an important question to ask, to go beneath these skills and behaviors, to ask fundamental questions about mindset is, what role am I seeing myself play in this job that I've taken up? Now, let me repeat. What is the role that I'm seeing myself play in the job that I've taken up? To explain this, let me give you this famous example, which some of you, I'm sure, would have definitely heard of. But nevertheless, it's useful to repeat it because the power of this example is fantastic. This is an example of the janitor in NASA, right? Some of you might have heard this example, where a group of people, it's attributed to John F. Kennedy. Some people say it's some other groups. When I say to organizations, I say it's few consultants from my organization, but nobody really who cares who walked into NASA. But a group of people walked into NASA. And as they were walking through the corridors, they saw a janitor. And you all know what a janitor does, right? The janitor's job is to keep equipment clean, keep the floors clean, mopped and nice and shiny. So they saw NASA and they were doing a culture audit. So they wanted to ask everybody some questions. So they asked this janitor, hey, janitor, what's your role in NASA? This janitor looks up, a sparkle in his eyes, and looks at this and says, gentlemen, my role in NASA is to put man on moon safely. Well, he said man on moon. It was 60s, right? So it was still more male dominated. Now it should be put a person on moon safely. So, but these people looked at the janitor and said, hey, are you kidding me? You're a janitor. How's that your role? Isn't your role sweeping and keeping things tidy? He said, hey, my job is defined by my job description. My job is defined by what I'm qualified to do, which could just be janitor. But my role is something which only I can define for myself. You see, if I do not clean the equipments properly, there is a chance that there is more vulnerability during the time of launch. And if there is more vulnerability during the time of launch, it puts at risk the people who are actually in those rockets. So my job is still to clean, but my role is to send man to moon safely. And these people were amazed because here is a person who had clearly demarcated what a job and a role is. While a job is defined by circumstances, the organization, what you're applying for, what qualifications you have. The role is something which is only what you define for yourself. You could be a club president at Toastmasters, still see a role as creating a society, creating a future generation of good communicators. Imagine how your behaviors would automatically self-select itself, depending on what you have told your role is. If you see your role as a club president as just achieving your DCP points, just think what such a club president would behave like. Right? He may send emails to finish your projects. He may, have a stick and chase you, which is fine, which is a good president. But imagine another club president in a very similar club who's defined his or her role as creating a generation of Indians who can communicate better through my club. Same job. The job of both these presidents are to be the president of a club which has 25 people. But the second person has defined his role as to create a generation of communicators who will serve the country or serve the world better. Now, do you think the behaviors that this person self-selects will essentially be different than the behaviors that the first person would self-select? Absolutely, isn't it? That's not because the second person went to a training program to learn leadership. That's because the lens with which they see the world is very different. You would find that in any profession, my friends. Imagine two doctors. Dr. A and Dr. B have same jobs, but the role Dr. A sees himself or herself play is to maximize hospitals' profitability. Dr. B sees his role to alleviate disease and suffering in the society. Do you think your experience with these two doctors will be different? Absolutely. Think of two cricketers. We all are cricket fans, aren't we? If you're not, get out. No, stay. So imagine two cricketers. One cricketer's role, and I know we have enough examples and names for these. Cricketer A sees his or her job as to sees the role as to all Indians should be chanting my name, or I should be in the papers tomorrow morning. Cricketer B sees his role as someone who wants to win matches for his or her country. Now, the way they behave on field would be very different, isn't it? So to conclude this part, I want to leave with you a very simple thought. It's useful to learn skills and competencies and behaviors, techniques and tools have its place, and those make you more productive, more efficient, more at it. You finish more things in a day. But fundamentally, if you want to be seen as a better leader, if you want to derive joy from being a leader, you need to ask yourself a question. What role do I see myself play? Am I a mentor to write? Am I a mentor so that my mentees go on Facebook and say, you are my best mentor? Or am I a mentor because I have an opportunity to transform somebody's life? Or am I a mentor because of ABC? And what you say, what you reinforce, you become. And when you become that, behaviors are automatic self-selection. You don't need to learn and force fit those behaviors. Because remember, anything that is changes by behavior but doesn't change by mindset has a shelf life after which it expires. Let me pause here and give it back to Sanjay and we can go ahead with the interaction, and I'd love to take as many questions as time permits.
Yes, Aditya, thank you so much. Can we have a round of applause for that fantastic session? Well, so we have 15 minutes towards the end for question and answers. And before that, I would like to ask a few questions to you, Aditya, so that it helps put all of us in context and you can give us insights from your personal learnings and from your journey. So I remember reading this article of yours that you had given in District 98 about speech contests. And I think this was probably a year or two after you were second place at the 2015 World Championship of Public Speaking. Well, the crux that I remember, and that changed the way I started looking at contests. So it was something similar to what you've just told on leadership. You said that one can define a job but cannot define a role. Similarly, you mentioned in that article how winning the World Championship is not the end. So could you throw some light on that as well for us?
Yeah, so the crux of all of us pick up all these pursuits of Toastmasters and all of these things for what at the end of the day? We're searching for some kind of completion or happiness or some kind of, we have a void that we search for a supply to fill. And therefore, when the supply and demand matches, there's a lot of spike of happiness. But again, it falls back after a while. My seeing things in perspective and proportion makes you realize that even though you win or lose a world championship of public speaking, it's after all swimming in a small well of what, 400,000 Toastmasters around the world, which is 0.00000, not probably so many zeros, but a few 0 ones of 8 billion people in this world. I think it's 3 4 zeros probably. So within that small population, you exist, and in that you call yourself a world champion or champion. It's still a great title to have, but it's not something to lose sleep over if you get a first runner-up and not the winner, right? And in fact, what I would lose sleep over is a conversation I had with a non-Toastmaster, Sanjay, 2 days ago in London. The non-Toastmaster came and said, I'm also a, by the way, I'm a mental health first responder here. So sometimes I get these calls to people, especially in the lockdown now, since people are struggling themselves in their own minds. So I got a call from this non-Toastmaster who was clearly in some kind of depression. He hadn't got into clinical depression yet, but was feeling really down. I could sense it. Now I asked him, so what have you been doing to keep your head above water, to keep yourself afloat in the tough times? He said, I've been watching some videos, some motivational videos. I was curious. As a Toastmaster, you're curious. What videos are these people watching? So I asked him, what videos are you watching? He said, I watch these videos that make me feel good, like some TED Talks, like some Les Brown talks. He was giving me a list. And I was wondering, why is there not a single non-Toastmaster who says, when I'm actually down in life, I watch a Toastmaster's inspirational speech to make me feel good. I watch a world champion winning speech to inspire me. I've not heard of a single non-Toastmaster who's, when they're clearly feeling down, they opt in to search a Toastmaster championship speech. That made me ask, are we really coming across as so self-conscious on stage? Are we really coming across as so trophy-driven on stage? Or it's all about, dramatics on stage, whatever it be. Somewhere we're missing the plot because we're not making speeches that truly inspire a person when they are feeling down in their lives. So when you view things in these perspectives, you put limited focus on otherwise what would make you happy or sad. Oh, I lost an area contest. Oh, I lost it. What is that all that about? Right? So you start asking yourself, how do I prepare speeches that are truly life-changing, that are truly inspiration? And then trophies obviously become a byproduct.
Yeah, fantastic. I think that is going to give a relief to a lot of contestants who are amongst the 76 people here and the people who are going to watch.
Probably add pressure. I don't know.
Oh, yes, absolutely. With the online contest, I'm sure everyone's under pressure. I can see 2 of the contests showing me thumbs up. So, yes, I think that's a great relief for them. And now the next question I'd like to ask is, Aditya, most of us here know Aditya the champion. We know Aditya as the champion speaker. But could you give us a little overview on your leadership journey? What do you think was the most defining moment in your leadership journey?
Well, there are many. Thanks for asking. There are many, but it's a Toastmaster audience. So let me go to way back 15 years ago, when I joined Toastmasters, 2005, around that time. I was in my college. I was in my engineering college. And there was only one club in the entire state. I was in Tamil Nadu at that time, in Chennai. There was only one club, Chennai Toastmasters Club. I joined. And I was, in my late teens, yeah? And everybody else, the average age of the club was around 45, right? And soon, because I was an enthusiastic person and I had a lot of time at hand, obviously, so they got a scapegoat to be a club officer. And soon, by the time I was 21, I was the president of the club with an average age of 45. Now, I thought it would be a glorious ride, but soon I started facing things that I would never thought I would face at the age of 19 or 20 or 21, which is I get a call from this 50-year-old man who says, Aditya, this lady is not behaving according to protocol. You should, as a president, suspend her. And I get a call from this lady saying, this man. And I thought, if I met them outside of the meeting, I would have been calling them auntie, uncle, And here I'm the club president. What am I supposed to do? So those early experiences, I'm sure I did a lot of things wrong. I've sent those emails because of ego and retaliation, which I would have cringed after sending it. I probably did not make that call to apologize when I should have made that call to apologize. But experiencing those situations early on in my life, thanks to Toastmasters and other forums like Rotary and other things I was involved in, allowed me to burn my hands early on. That I don't think at work I've ever failed to make that call when I knew that's the right thing to do, though I was feeling a little cringy about it. I don't think I've sent an email immediately after getting a stinker, because I've learned from early experiences that it's useful to send it the next morning. So for me, leadership is about realizing, as Viktor Frankl says in his book, between the stimulus and your response is a gap. And in that gap lies freedom, liberation, and realization, which means what the world throws at you, COVID-19, the world has thrown that at you. You can go into fight or flight mode and create a mess out of situations. Or you can realize between that stimulus and your response as a leader, there is a gap. And in that gap, you can bring back objectivity and do what needs to be done and not what your ego wants to do. That's been my biggest leadership lesson.
Fantastic. It's really amazing to know the way you started your journey. And I think a true sign of a leader, like you mentioned, is openly throwing away your learnings without shying away from the mistakes one has made in early on. So fantastic. Now, the next question that I would like to ask you, Aditya, is we face this question a lot of times from new members who join. They say, I will deliver speeches, great. I will learn communication. I will take up roles. I'll probably get to listen. But besides being a club officer, how as a Toastmaster member am I going to improve my leadership? I'm sure a lot of members who joined initially had their doubts. So what's your take on that?
Well, you would probably never get a forum which is fail-proof to do anything you want, test it, and not repeat the same mistakes outside of it, isn't it? Both in communication and leadership. We are not, as my good friend from Bangalore, Chendil, would say, if someone asks, are leaders born or leaders made? He would say, only babies are born, everybody else is made. So, well, there is new research that there could be some genetic implications on leadership. There is a particular strand of DNA isolated to say, does that influence your ability to persuade or ability to be more charismatic more? But again, charisma and all of those things are defined as per the era that we live in. Charisma a few hundred years ago could have been physical strength, right? And a few hundred years later, it's more of your mental capacity to handle complexity. And a few hundred years later, nowadays we say that the alpha male leader, the celebrity CEO is dead. Now it's all about interpersonal skills, the humility, empathy that a leader shows. So all of these things change with time. So what you can use Toastmasters is to try to figure out what's your natural style of leadership. And it's okay to do mistakes as long as you're not hurting anybody. It's okay to try out doing things differently. Put your hand up to be a conference convener for your area or division conference. And then in that experience, try to do things differently. If you're unstructured as a person, experience what it's like to be structured. If you're overstructured as a person, experience what it's like to work in ambiguity. If you are very methodical, try to have a co-convener or a partner in crime who's opposite to you. So that when you meet these people at work or in real life, you don't take offense at a drop of a hat. You know to include them because you've worked with these people in a fail-proof environment called Toastmasters. Remember, whenever there are more than two people, there is politics that exists. And blink your eye twice if you think there is politics in your club. A lot of people blink your eyes. No, nobody doing that. But the politics exists in every club, every area, every division. Whenever there are more than three people in the world, there is politics. So this is a great forum for you to learn how do you remain a leader, yet know to handle politics. Just like a lotus flower grows in dirt and mud, yet it remains apart from the dirt and mud, isn't it? And that's the role of a leader. Can you be in dirt, yet be apart from the dirt? Anybody can be a good leader if you are with a great team or in a great organization. The test of leadership is if you are in politics, yet you're able to see your way through it. So that's what Toastmasters can offer as an experimentation ground.
I think that was a very fantastic way of putting across how each of us as members, not really as club officers or district officers, but each one of us as members can learn through this journey. Now, this is the one last question, and then we'll throw the floor open to our participants to ask questions. Now, a lot of times we hear that leadership and communication go hand in hand, and we see you've, like you said, amongst the 4 lakh members in Toastmasters, you've reached the pinnacle. You've almost been there at the communication journey. How do you think leadership has helped you get there? How do you think leadership has complemented you in your communication skills?
My first 6 years in Toastmasters, Sanjay, from 7 years, 2005 to 7 was very less about competitions and public speaking. I did my speech projects. I did all my things proper. I became a DTM in 2010 and all of those things. But the focus was on leadership. I was a club officer, then a district officer. At that time, we were one large district 82, which was all of India and Sri Lanka together. So it was an honor being a district officer. Then under leaders that I still continue to admire, like BTMC Menon, who is our international president now. So he was the district director when I was a district officer. So learned being an apprentice under leaders that I admire. So one of the things that leadership helped me in other fields, like you asked, is the ability to be the same person on and off stage, Sanjay. It seems a very simple thing to say, but it's monumentally difficult to implement. Can I be the same person when I'm off camera, on stage, off stage? Which means I cannot be a leader for 8 hours a day at work and then go back and throw a fit with my driver or spouse or children or whatever it is. If I have the appetite to be a leader that pervades my personality, it extends through my day. It is who I am. It's not an activity that I do. So if you were sitting in front of me in my sofa now, Sanjay, I would be talking with the same animation and the same excitement because of not because 70 people are there, because the topic is inherently exciting. Or it's because it's a duty that I've opted into. I've said okay to you. And it's my obligation to do that to the best of my ability. Or I should not have said okay to you. So these simple principles, the eternal principles of life, got crystallized in those first 7 years in Toastmasters. And of course, with all the other pursuits that I was having as well. And therefore, when I got into public speaking after that, the reason I didn't continue in my leadership journey is I left Chennai to Hyderabad to do my MBA. And then I left Hyderabad to Mumbai I lived in Mumbai for 7 years, 6 years before I moved to London. So then I got to public speaking, and there this helped me a lot. I didn't need to portray myself as better than who I was or worse than who I was on stage. I realized the stage should just be a spillover of what I've already become and not something aspirational that I want to become for that 7 minutes. If I am wise in a particular field, that spillover of that should be my speech on stage. It's not something apart from me that I'm professing to the world, but that I can't practice myself. So that's how leadership helped me in public speaking.
Fantastic. The one line that I'm going to carry from this answer is we need to live leadership. We can't be a leader for 8 hours and not for the remaining. Thank you so much for that fantastic attempt. We will now, leave it open for our audience to ask their questions. And what I will suggest is please unmute yourself. Tell us your name. We don't want everyone unmuting at the same time and sounding, like a very noisy musical choir. Yes, I think Moazim wanted to ask a question. He just dropped me a message. Moazim, you can unmute and go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much, Aditya. It's been wonderful. It's always a pleasure to listen to you. My quick question is, leadership is also about dealing with uncertainties. And this uncertainty which has been brought in by COVID-19 is phenomenal. I mean, I call myself digital transformer, but the kind of digital transformation which was done because of this COVID-19 situation is phenomenal. So how do you see things changing for leaders post-COVID-19?
Oh, that's a great question. That's a great question that a consultant in me loves to hear from clients, because that's where I can plug in what we offer. But going beyond plugging in, a lot of things that were urgent, sorry, that were important but not urgent were put aside, isn't it? Things like understanding that it's truly, you're not onboarding into digital, you are using digital to transform your organizations were never really understood by organizations. Organizations thought if I have a mobile banking application, which means I'm also digitally transformed. No, digitally transformed is how technology can disrupt your organization and industry. So a lot of organizations realize today they're actually playing catch up because their usual revenue streams and cash flows have stopped. But companies that invested early on the right things actually are bearing dividends for their investment today. The implication of that on leadership is the ability to embrace multiple points of view, openness to differences. I can assure you, Mohsen and others, that in each of these, in the boardroom of Nokia, in the boardroom of Yahoo, in the boardroom of Sony, all of these companies which famously lost to the Googles of the world or the Apples of the world or the Samsungs of the world, there would have been at least one person who, because they had the best people to hire from, there would have been opinions that were right, but those opinions that were sabotaged by the loud voices or the CEO's inability to look into those opinions. Even today in crisis, you find in so many countries, there would be right opinions, but is the government listening to them? Is the leaders listening to them? So one is dealing with ambiguity. Number two is the ability to embrace differences and opinions so that you're able to nip it in the bud rather than letting it grow and becoming a Nokia or becoming a Yahoo.
Right. Thank you so much, Mohsen. Thank you, Aditya. Next, we have Vivaswan Damle who would like to ask a question. Vivaswan, you can unmute and go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjay. Hi, Aditya. So I am a president of the club right now, and I have a Toastmaster specific question for you,
Sure.
or rather for any volunteer organization. So in a volunteer organization, even if you yourself are very inspired or you take lots of initiatives as a leader, it is not necessary that the team that you're having or the people below you or the people with you, they might share the same motivation or same inspiration. So in such a case, how would you suggest to actually push your points through? Because as a president, sometimes that is one issue that we face, or sometimes during our, say, high performance leadership projects or whichever voluntary projects, this is one issue that we always face. So how do you deal with this issue?
Thank you for that. And it's so applicable to Toastmasters, isn't it? There's two ways to look at it. One from the lens of who you are, and number two, the skill of getting it done. From the lens of who you are, most of the times you realize it's one of your needs that is being ruptured. Meaning, if I am a person who is so perfection driven, right? And I see someone around me who's not doing things the way I would have done last year when I was the VPE or when I was the secretary, and this person is doing it differently. It doesn't necessarily mean that the effectiveness is lesser. It just means that there is a different way of doing it that doesn't speak to you at the moment. So you need to have more neutral yardsticks or measurement criteria to ask whether it's effective or not. And the judgment of effectiveness can't be whether it satiates the way I would have done it or not done. But number two, how do you influence others? That's where Simon Sinek's start with the why is very helpful. Again, we all know it, but we fail to do it when we are in a state where we need it the most. Start with the why is nothing about, traditionally we always communicate the what and the how very effectively, isn't it? If I want to tell my ex-com that let's organize a contest, I say, let's organize a contest, you do this, you do that, and let's meet in a week. That's communicating the what. Now, good leaders understand that our job is to communicate the why and why alone. And the team will figure out the how. The moment they are left to think of the how, they have a vested interest in the agenda. And they end up doing it as if it's their duty. They want to do it, not because they're doing it for me or for you. So communicating the why is asking a team, what kind of club should we be at the end of our term? What do you think? Ask for their ideas. If this is the kind of club that we see ourselves to be, what should we as an ex-com commit to ourselves? All right, great. If that's the level of excellence we have committed to ourselves, how do you envision a club contest to be? And now they figure out the how and go into it. So one, ensure that it's not your likes and dislikes that become the measure of success. It's truth unto itself. And number two, communicate the why and leave the how to them. Hope that answers it.
Thanks. So the basic issue was managing the balance between delegation and micromanagement. So you answered that quite well. So thank you.
Thank you, Maheswaran. Thank you so much for the question. Thank you, Aditya, for the answer. Up next, we have Puneet who wants to ask a question. Puneet, can you unmute yourself and ask the question, please?
Am I audible?
Yes, Puneet.
Okay, Aditya, what was the most challenging experience in your Toastmasters journey? Was it in terms of leadership or communication? Which one you found the most challenging one? Because all these years you have been a veteran Toastmaster. So I just want to know what was the most challenging journey in your Toastmasters?
Nobody's really asked me this question. Challenging moment in Toastmasters. I think the most challenging moment in Toastmasters for me was coming to terms with myself. You see, we always want to project an image of us that is probably better than who we are. And sometimes that is quadrupled when you have a name and title behind you. You're the runner-up of the world champion of public speaking. Now, everybody expects you to, when you open your mouth, you're some Christ or you're Buddha or somebody like that. Just because you're a world champion of public speaking runner-up. So it doesn't work that way. But the most endearing people are those who accept and show their vulnerabilities. So now, I think my most challenging moment was when I was thinking that I need to fit this societal title of being a great public speaker. But then I realized that the trophy that I got only validated what I already became. So what I am is fine. And that's why I got the trophy. So then that was a moment of epiphany for me. And I realized I need to just be myself. And then there is so much of happiness. You're carefree on stage. Imagine when you go on stage. Are you truly carefree? No, because we're thinking of the script. We're thinking of whether our hands in our pocket or outside. Sometimes, the 2015 World Championship, I went on stage and I realized, is my fly open? You think of crazy stuff. So a truly carefree mind thinks of nothing but what's important, which could be your audience. So now I have come to the stage where I'm carefree as much as possible without being bothered about anything else. Like today in front of you. I love taking questions because that allows me to be there.
That was an insightful answer. Thank you so much, Aditya.
Thank you so much, Puneet. Fantastic questions and even fantastic answer by Aditya. Thank you. Up next, we have Akhil who would like to ask a question. Akhil, you can unmute and ask your question, please.
Sure. Am I audible?
Yes, Akhil.
Thank you. Hi, Aditya. My question to you is, many times when we get a chance to lead, where we have many experienced members in the team, they have pretty good experience and we are not so much, we are new, and maybe there may be some kind of ego issues that, okay, we know much more than you. I'm not saying it is, but it may be at times. So in that situation, how do we take the members or the team together? I mean, how we communicate and take all of them together without having that issue of age and experience.
Yeah, it's a two-way process. It starts with giving the benefit of doubt. I have been the beneficiary and you have been the beneficiary. Sanjay, you have been a beneficiary of so many people forgiving you for your inadequacies. We are not in any way perfect people. In one day's time, we are the recipients of kindness from so many people. I need 14 things in order for me to be happy when I go to sleep. The milkman should have come on time. The internet should be working. My boss should not have said a bad thing. My mom should not be complaining. So many things need to go in place to make me feel happy. So, but the moment somebody says something which I don't like, I throw a fit about that and call him names or say that he's creating politics. This equation with life that we have is so egocentric in nature for all of us. It's not one person, two. But understanding that will help you give benefit of doubt to people. Where can you unburden somebody of their inadequacies? If someone's behaving immaturely, that's a burden that they're carrying because of the trap of their own personality. Your job as a leader is to unburden them of that, not to inflame that further by writing a nasty mail or calling him names or taking offense of that. A true leader is someone who will not take offense at someone's wickedness because they understand that wickedness is actually goodness just gone without a guide, just gone astray. So though it could sound philosophical in nature, but just try giving benefit of doubt to people. And remember, they would do wonders and they would never leave your side after that. So whether it be a young person to an old person, forgive them because they are struggling to stay relevant, for example. And the great example is pathways. A lot of old DTMs now look irrelevant now because young members go to that guy who started pathways, not to a DTM who finished in ACG, ALS and all of those things. So understand that old member is struggling to stay relevant. So they may write a few nasty mails to you. It's okay, forgive them. In fact, go comfort them, make them feel relevant instead of making them feel even more isolated. Similarly with youngsters, if you are an older member, look at a young Toastmaster and realize they're coming in as a fresh blood. They don't know how things work here. So they're trying to find a space for themselves in this new forum that they've joined. Give them the benefit of doubt. And then there's wonders that can happen.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Aditya, for that question, for the answer. Thank you, Akhil, for the question. Up next, we have Adyant who wants to ask a question. Adyant, you can unmute and ask your question, please.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Hello, Aditya.
Hello there.
You just told that you are a mental health expert. So I want to ask you a question.
Not an expert, just a first responder. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. So I want to ask a question. I did an EQ test on myself recently, and I scored terribly low in relationship management. So how do you think I can improve on it?
Firstly, that has got nothing to do with mental health. We are fine. So relationship management is the fourth quadrant of EQs. It starts with self-awareness and self-management and awareness of others and relationship management. So, relationship management starts, is that Akhil? Have I got your name right?
That's Adyant.
Adyant, sorry. Adyant, relationship management starts from the right assessment of people. For example, can you know that snakes give poison, right? You can extract the venom from the snake.
Yes.
And then you go to a horse or a cow and you expect the cow to give poison. Now, whose mistake is that? Is the cow's mistake or your mistake?
Mine.
Correct. So that is right assessment because you're objective now, because it seems obvious, even a stupid question to ask. But that same objectivity does not come when you're managing relationships. So if you expect your mother to be something that she cannot be, whose mistake is that? Is that your mother's mistake or your mistake? Correct. Her inadequacy is her burden to bear. You taking offense at her being somebody you don't want her to be is your burden to carry. So relationship management starts with the right assessment. I know Sanjay is a certain type of person, so Sanjay can be only Sanjay. If I expect Sanjay to be an Adhyant, whose mistake is that? It's not Sanjay's mistake, nor is it Adhyant's mistake. It's my mistake, my stupidity. So the problem in relationship management is here, not out there. And if the problem is here, the solution also needs to happen here, not out there. So when you see people for what they are capable of, not capable of. For example, you have a boss who's short-tempered. Now, you expect that boss to be kind to you. Whose mistake is that? It's your mistake, because a boss is trapped in his own helpless personality of losing his temper. It's not that he's happy losing his temper, he's cribbing about it the next morning. So that's where you assess people rightly. And then you realize that you manage relationships very tactfully and very well.
Thank you,
you so
Adan,
much,
for the
Aditya.
question. Thank you, Aditya, for giving us your perspective on that. Up next, we have Atharva who wants to ask a question. Atharva, you can unmute and ask your question, please.
Hello, Aditya.
Hello.
I just wanted to ask that what, according to you, is the most underrated quality in a great leader?
Underrated qualities is humor, is the ability to be light-hearted, is the ability to take the work seriously but take himself or herself lightly. Right? A good leader is a person who has disproportionate focus on the work, but takes himself or herself very lightly. You normally find the opposite, isn't it? People take themselves very seriously, but sometimes the work gets procrastinated. So a leader is a person who understands that he is just a messenger or she is just a messenger at that point. I'm not the judge, jury, and executioner of the club or task that I'm taking. I'm just an instrument to do the right things at the right time. Since I'm a custodian of my Toastmasters club, I lay a lot of focus on my job as a president. But I'm not taking myself so seriously that it becomes my Toastmaster club and I'm the judge, jury, and executioner of everything that happens here, right? That's the most underrated quality of a leader, because leadership is always, we create this dark and image about leadership, who walks a certain way, talks a certain way, who has this charisma. End of the day, a good leader is a person who's light-hearted and loosens the grip on themselves and focuses on the issues.
All right, thank you so much. Aditya, we had promised you we have a hard stop. You have a hard stop at 5. One last question. Unfortunately, I don't have any more questions. We'll ask them to connect with you later. Vivek Radhakrishnan wants to ask a question. Vivek, you can unmute and ask your question, please.
Hello, Aditya. I hope you still remember me. We had
from Chennai Times, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, Chennai Wordsmiths Toastmasters Club, and now I'm part of Ambattur Achievers Toastmasters Club. So
you're joining in from Chennai?
Yeah, I'm still in Chennai.
Oh, okay, all right. But are there a lot of other club members too, Sanjay?
Yes, there are people from across the globe. We have, in fact, we had, I think, DTM Priyan from USA who said she was a Toastmaster with you in Chennai 11 years back. We have a lot of people from District 98 and from across the globe.
All right, wonderful.
Yes.
So Vivek, go ahead. Sorry.
A lot of people have been messaging. Can everyone just say hi to Aditya? You can unmute. You can take a moment, unmute and say hi.
Let me go to gallery view.
Hi, Aditya.
Hi. Hi.
So many highs.
Aditya.
What a pleasure seeing all of you.
Hello, Aditya. Why do organizations, prioritize profitability over values? I've been going through this for quite some time, but I don't understand. That's one of the questions I just wanted to pose to you.
It's the hedonic treadmill of capitalism. What that means is that the way capitalism works is that you're on a treadmill, and for which you don't have the buttons of on and off. So the only thing you can do is keep running, otherwise you're going to fall back. So you got to keep running, and as you are running, you got to think of values and purpose and all of these vision and larger things. But you're not basing your business on those, because you have to keep running. You got to feed 50,000 families. You got to pay salaries. You got to lease your office, and you got to also expand the pie every quarter so that you can reinvest that amount on your business. All of this is good. Where businesses become greedy is when the top 10 people of a company make as much salary as the bottom 60,000 people of the company. A CEO of Wells Fargo, before Wells Fargo was caught up in the scandal of creating fake accounts, the CEO is making 24 million a year. And 24 million was the salary of 50,000 people put together. And the 24 million was only a bonus. It wasn't his fixed amount. So that's where, as Gandhi said, the world can take care of everybody's needs, but not a single person's greed, right? So in that sense, capitalism is good because it expands the pie for all of us. So many of us are well off now as compared to our parents, as compared to our grandparents, because of this treadmill of capitalism. However, when we use the profits not just to reinvest on the world, but to pay bonuses to the rich folks, that's where things get a little hazy. But then let's also not blame it only on those top 5, 10 people. Think of, are you living a lifestyle which is minimalistic in nature? Or are you also contributing this problem by having things which are not necessary and thereby taking away precious resources that can otherwise be useful for others? So my short and long answer to this, Vivek, is that capitalism is a treadmill that we can't jump out of now. The world will crash. We all can't go back to where our forefathers were. We were too into this process to get out of it. It's like a chakra view. You've got into the chakra view. You can't get out of the chakra view now. You've got to fight that battle inside. But the way you fight that battle can still be based on values, which some organizations do, with some organizations.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Aditya. Thank you so much, Vivek, for that question. Aditya, it's exactly 5 p.m. IST, and I leave it to you for your concluding remarks.
Oh, thanks. I'm actually joining another club meeting now. In fact, Vivek, you would be pleased to know that I'm speaking for the next 20 minutes into Chennai Wordsmith Toastmasters Club. In an hour or so, this weekend, I'm doing this 4-part series on Vedanta. Vedanta is the philosophy from the Upanishads on how to remain balanced in thought and emotions and empathy. So, I mean, if it's open to all, if any of you are interested, just go to my Facebook page. There's a link to register, and you can join me at 7 p.m. India time or 2:30 p.m. UK time. But it was a pleasure to interact with all of you. All the very best, Sanjay, Mr. President, and all the team members. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Aditya. Can we have a round of applause for Aditya? Parijat, I hope you've taken a virtual photograph till Aditya is along with us.
Yes, I did.
Okay, all right, fantastic. It was truly an honor listening to you. Honestly, every time I look at your speech, I listen to your speech, it reminds me of November 2017. I think that was the first message I dropped to you as well. Thank you so much for sparing your time and gracing us with your presence. You have definitely added a lot of value to all the attendees here, members from across the globe. Thank you so much and look forward to connect with you again. Thank you, Aditya.
So much. Good luck. And thanks for inviting me again. Bye-bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have all had a fantastic 45-50 minute duration. And I see a lot of folks a few folks will be moving along with Aditya to the Chennai Club meeting. Thank you for joining us all the way from across the country. We have a lot of other members, and believe me, we have some exciting speeches, some table topics, and some effective evaluations going ahead. Now, in order to conduct and take us through this milestone meeting, how many of you can see the virtual background 200 behind a lot of members? Yes? Against a few members. All right, let me spotlight one person, the person that I'm going to introduce. Okay, we can all see the 200 that's right behind. Don't you think that's a fantastic design?
Yeah.
Well, now this person is as creative as one can get. He designs extremely creative posters and always comes up with creative ideas for no matter what. Well, one example that I would like to give, and this would be specific to the Barnair members, but all of you could relate. Something as simple as making a banner support without the 2 legs. Well, what a creative idea that our Toastmaster of the day had come up with. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to take us forward through this 200th meeting, please put your hands together for the Vice President Public Relations of Barnair Toastmasters Club, the man behind all the creative posters, Toastmaster Parijat.
Thank you very much, Sanjay, for those kind words. Wow, what a phenomenal session it was, isn't it? I thoroughly enjoyed the last 45-50 minutes, and I'm sure all of you did too. Presiding officer, district officers, division officers, area officials who are attending this meeting, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, based on wherever you are. Parijat Garg, your host for this meeting. And I welcome you again to this very, very special 200th milestone meeting of Bane Toastmasters Club. I hope, like you enjoyed the last 50 minutes or an hour, you will continue to enjoy the next 90 minutes as well, and will have loads of fun and learning, kicking up your heels at today's meeting. When we were born, we perhaps did not know anything. The world has so many things to know about, learn from, experience, but we are perhaps at zero. As we begin to grow, we begin to pick up variety of knowledge and skills. How to crawl, how to walk, eat, read, communicate, and many more things. We begin to become better us. This process naturally continues until we kick the bucket. However, we are never ever close to that 100%. And why do we make such attempts? It's of course a natural requirement for us to survive in this world. Remember Darwin's survival of the fittest. But also to create our own identity, because we all have some aspirations. We dream and imagine ourselves to be someone different from what we are today or what we were in the past. Some of us accelerate this process by pursuing specific interests, passion, and cultivate newer behaviors, trying to be 1% better every day. Like all of us here, we are here because we all want to be better communicators, better speakers, and we cultivate skills for voice modulation or body language, managing stage fear, thinking on the feet, and so much more. Let me share a small story with you. A university professor divided his photography class into two halves and gave them each only one assignment for the entire semester. The first team was supposed to submit 3 best photographs from their repertoire. This group was called the quality group. The second half was to be assessed purely on the number of photographs that they submit. And no points for guessing, they were called the quantity group. Any thoughts which of this group produced the best pictures at the end of the term? It was the quantity group. The quantity group won it hands down. The reason being, the students continue to improvise on every picture that they click. And they were so focused on clicking number of pictures, the cumulative effect of each of these minor improvements gave them the best quality pictures too. At Bane Toastmasters Club, we are celebrating 200 meetings. That means almost 4 years, an astounding achievement. Have we done anything in our lives for so many times? Studies say that if we actually put in 10,000 hours of anything, practice, focus, makes us an expert at it. Some members I'll name out right now, Toastmaster Santosh, who has been a digital marketer for nearly 10 years, that's why he's considered an expert in that field. Toastmaster Sanjay, you heard him, has spent hours speaking on public forums, and that's why he is an inspiration for all of us here as a speaker. There are many such Toastmasters that we have amongst us who have pursued some passion, some interests, and have achieved some milestones in their lives. I was thinking milestone for myself. And I thought over the years, there are few things that I have definitely spent 10,000 hours doing cumulatively. One of them could be brushing my teeth. The other could be washing my hands. But wait, that's not true anymore. I just realized, in fact, COVID made me realize that I still need to learn better ways of washing my hand. Learning never stops, even for such self-professed experts. Now, given a time, let me take you through the agenda quickly. I've shared the agenda on the chat window, and I'll quickly share my screen as well for people who are missing the agenda with them. Can you see my screen now? So our agenda is split into two parts. The first part is the speaking session, where we have two prepared speeches today, and followed by table topic session, which is the impromptu session. The second part of our meeting today, like any other Toastmasters meeting, is the evaluation session, where we will be hearing the evaluations and the feedback from our role players. And mind you, if you miss the special musical performance, that's at 5:32. Please stay around and listen to that. There's one of our special Toastmasters who will be and making a special musical performance which all of us can enjoy. So you have heard me enough right now in terms of my monologue. I have few puzzles and activities lined up during the meeting to activate our minds. Let me start with the first one, and I'm sharing my screen again. So the round one, any guesses what would that be? That's unscrambling.
Happy.
No, that's unscrambling. So basically, the words would be coming in. So I'll be giving some words to you. So for example, here, I've given an example here. The word is gates. And you have to unscramble it and create another meaningful word of the same length. As many number of alphabets was there in the original word, you have to use the same number of alphabets and create another meaningful word. And the hint for you is, all of these words are associated with our Toastmaster world. So like gates can be unjumbled into the word stage. And what I would recommend you to do is to just type in your answers whenever you have the answer on the chat window, but direct it only to me. And my name here that shows up on the participant list is as TMOD Parijat Gaur. So please request you to only message me the answers, and I'll take first few answers and move on. I'll give about 10 seconds for every question for everyone to answer. So so are we ready? Okay, so let me start with the first one. So the word here is optics. I'm getting few correct answers already, quite a few in fact. And you have to remember the new word is from our Toastmasters world itself, and you have to use the same number of alphabets. Yes, the answer is right. The answer is topics. This is the second word. Yes, the first one of the block was Puneet from Nasik Club. Then Subodh, Ankita, a lot of them have got it right. The word is dealership. Leadership, sorry. This is the next word. Yes, so Subodh was the correct one, the first one to answer. Not many have followed it. It's milestone. That's right. The next word on the screen, yes. So Nishant was the first one to get it right. The word is meeting. Here's the next word. Amit Chakravarti from Baner Toastmaster Club is the first one to get it right. Dina ma'am, Ankita, not Ankita, Jitin. Ankita, you've gone into a different direction. Yes, the answer is chapter. Here's the next word. This looks to be slightly difficult. I have not got, yes, Puneet is the first one to answer it right. Sanjukta, we got it right as well. Guest Nikinge Warren, we got it right. Radha, good work. I'll give you a few more seconds. Dina ma'am, we got the other one right, but we have to pick it up from the Toastmasters world. Ankita, you've got it right. Dolly, I think you've gone in the other direction. The hint is that it has to be from Toastmasters world. So the answer here is education. Some of you have got auction. That is also correct answer. But since I am looking at a word related to Toastmasters, so I'll go with education. So next word is up on the screen. Sonia, it has to be the complete word, the same length. Vinod, again the same length. Let me give you a hint here. It is the word will be based on one of the role players. The hint is yes. Hemant, you got it right. Subodh, you got it right as well. Veena ma'am, Megan Warren, quite a few correct answers coming in. Divesh, you also got it right. So the correct answer is Sergeant, from Sergeant at Arms. So this is a bonus question. This is not from Toastmasters world. This is perhaps one of the most difficult ones to unjumble. So let me see if anyone can get it right. This is like any word from dictionary, but you have to construct it for the same length. No, repercussion is not the right word. It has to be from percussion itself. The hint is it is related to sound. The other word is also related to sound. Yes, Deepak, you got it right. Nishant, you got it right. Manisha. Amit, you got it right as well. Amit Chakrabarti. Prashant, you got it right. Prashant Dhamtok. Hemant Pant, you got it right. So the answer here is supersonic. So again related to sound. Okay, so that is where I end round one. I'll come back with round two a little later. I'll stop sharing my screen right now. I hope you all enjoyed the round one. And I'll come, as I said, I'll come back with round two a little later when time permits. So with that, let us move with the agenda forward. So let me quickly introduce some of the team members that are going to help me today. You have already been introduced to the Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Vinod, who opened this meeting with a lot of vigor. The next person that I would like to introduce is someone who's helping us keeping the meeting on time. He is a very jovial Toastmaster with interest in experiencing cultures from across the globe. So let's welcome Toastmaster Jitin. Jitin, you are on mute.
Maybe the Zoom.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yes, you are audible now.
Yeah. A warm good evening to all Toastmasters and future Toastmasters. Hi, I'm Jitin. I'm playing the role of the timer, and I'm privileged to take up this role in the Milestone meeting. So my basic responsibility is to keep the track of the time for prepared speeches, table topics, as well as the evaluations part. So like how Parijat was mentioning, as the online meetings are getting evolved, we are also doing kind of continuous improvement, like in terms of Six Sigma language or something. I'm just sharing my screen where we had adopted some of the online methodologies in terms of doing the timing evaluation. Thanks to Parijat for this. So I hope you all are seeing my screen. So what I would be doing would be for each of the different categories, I would be setting this up, and I will be rolling out my timer clock in the background. So I believe Zoom Master will be able to spotlight me whenever it reaches to the green, amber, as well as to the red flags. Also, I have a buzzer here when the extra 30 seconds is made. I hope you guys are able to listen to my buzzer as well. So each speech will have a minimum requirement which will be mentioned at the starting of the speech, which will call for a green flag, and the middle time will be indicated through a amber flag, and the end of the speech should be designated with red flag. An extra 30 seconds of grace period will be given for them to understand the sound of the buzzer. So now, like how we are seeing on the screen, now it's reaching to 1 minute. Okay, so it's a different settings. So that's all for my role for today. Whenever I'm called for my timing report, I will come up with my report. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Nitin, for explaining your role. Next up is someone who will critically evaluate the language being used during the meeting. This person loves painting and technology and believes in continuous process of self-improvement. Let us welcome the language evaluator for today, very diligent Toastmaster Dinesh, with big round of applause.
Thank you, Toastmaster Parijat, fellow Toastmaster and guest. So as a grammarian, it is my responsibility to listen to everything said during the meeting and to note and report any particular effective use of grammar and grammatically incorrect speech. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility to present the word of the day and the phrase of the day. For today's meeting, the word of the day is cultivate. Meaning is to develop or acquire. The use of the word is we should cultivate our mind by reading the book. Anybody wants to use this word of the day? Please unmute yourself and okay.
We need to cultivate our public speaking habit by joining Toastmasters.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Okay. And the phrase of the day is kick up your heels. The meaning is to celebrate and have a wonderful time. I will use this phrase of the day. I always kick up my heels whenever I have a delivery for new gadgets at my doorstep. Anybody wants to use phrase of the day in the sentence?
Hey, hi, can I?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Hi. So I always kick up my heels whenever I attend a Bane Toastmasters Club meeting, and this is the second virtual session that I'm being part of, and I'm really very glad. Thank you.
That's great. Okay, so just one request here. So I request all audience to uh, do a thumbs up, or you have a reaction in the online meeting here. So whenever somebody is using this word of the day and a phrase of the day, and I will give my report at the whenever Toastmaster of the day asks me to provide. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Divesh, for sharing the word of the day and phrase of the day. And let's all try to use word of the day and phrase of the day during our speeches and our talks today, and even beyond that. Next up is someone who will help keep non-essentials in our speeches under check. Another painter amongst us who also loves swimming and traveling and wants to be a better public speaker. She is none other than very gifted Toastmaster Geetika, who is playing the R counter today. Over to you, Geetika.
Very good evening to all of you. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Very
we
good
can.
evening to all of you. Okay. My duty as a AHA counter is to listen attentively to each speaker, make a note of the following used by speaker. The crutch sounds ah, filler words as but, so, well, like, filler phrases, you know, and so. So all these injections make our speech less interesting. When called upon, I'll give a report of the speaking error, of their speaking error. And I'm also carefully noting everyone's favorite word. So let's be awesome, not awful. So I'm going to catch everyone. Over to Toastmaster Parijat.
Thank you, Geetika. So we also have Toastmaster Nishant playing a role today, and he is the general evaluator who will be observing every single thing that will happen in the meeting. He will also be chairing the second half of the meeting, where he will help us through evaluations and feedback. So without much ado, let's now begin with our first section, the part A, which is prepared speeches from communications manuals. Each project has a specific time limit and fixed objectives. And each project teaches us some aspects of public speaking, communication, leadership, such as body language, vocal variety, and persuasive skills. Both the speakers today have the same time limit. So the time allowed is 5 to 7 minutes, meaning the green card goes up at 5 minutes, yellow card goes up at 6 minutes, red card goes up at 7 minutes. And after 30 seconds of grace, the buzzer will sound at 7.5 minutes. The speaker has to go beyond the 5 minutes and finish within 7.5 minutes to qualify for voting. So the first speaker is attempting project 1, understanding leadership style from level 2 of his learning track, dynamic leadership. The evaluator for the speech is Toastmaster Nisar, and I request him to read out the objective.
Good evening, all. Can you all hear me? Yeah. The purpose of the project is for the member to identify his or her leadership styles, and the purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her primary leadership style or discuss leadership style in general. All the best, Toastmaster Ajay.
I suppose Parijat's video has blanked out. So shall I proceed?
Just give me one moment. I think Parijat has been dropped off the call.
I just came back, Sanjay. I got...
Okay, great. Parijat is back.
Sorry, so did Nisarg share the...
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Purpose of the speech. Okay. All right. Great. So let me now invite the speaker for the first speaker, who is a trekker and loves ping pong, and he's been spending a lot more time reading during this COVID lockdown. He believes that one needs to relentlessly improve every day to become the better you. Let's put our hands together to welcome our first speaker, very affable Toastmaster Ajay. Toastmaster Ajay, the title of your speech is, I have a good news and a bad news to share. I have a good news and a bad news to share. Toastmaster Ajay, over to you.
Thank you. So in my last 20 years of work experience working with different IT and ITES organizations, I have come across various personalities who have displayed the different colors of leadership. So back in the year 2000, I got to work with this startup organization called Dux E-Services, which was started by three like-minded individuals. One was Mr. Pawan Vash, the CTO. Second person was Mr. Sanjeev Agrawal, the CEO. And the third person was Mr. MJ Arvind, the COO of the organization. All three of them had cozy and high-paying jobs, but the will and zeal to try something new and extraordinary propelled them to start this new venture. Presiding officer, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmaster, distinguished guest, good evening. So all the three persons just I highlighted, they had clinched a big deal with Amazon.com to provide customer service from offshore over email, chat, and call. And I consider myself fortunate to be part of that core group or premier group of 40 folks who were asked to provide customer service to Amazon.com and later on Amazon.co.uk. So this good work done for Amazon really helped the organization getting marquee clients like Intuit and Yahoo. And as they say, rest is history. So what I specifically would like to bring about or highlight the leadership aspects or the levels of leadership that I witnessed in Dux, that I kind of found it in patches in the other IT biggies that I worked with, like Patni Computers or Computer Science Corporations or Cognizant Technology Solutions. So what was unique in Dux was the team bond or teamwork, the team that had close access to the C-suite in terms of observing how they used to think, plan, and execute and operate in that frenzied and frantic and hectic business operations. Let me give you a quick overview of the daily working at Dux. So there had been different teams consisting of 10 to 15 members each. Every team would have one team lead, one quality auditor, and rest of the folks would be customer service representatives. And everyone has to write at least 8 emails per hour. Now to respond to those emails, customer emails, you have to understand the customer psyche, the customer pain points, why the customer has written this email. So after understanding the pain points, after doing the research and analysis, then you can take action on those, and those response has to be put in a structured format. Like it should be having a opening, body, and a closer. So like this exercise was definitely helpful, and 15 to 20% of the emails would definitely undergo the quality audit. If found inappropriate, then the representative's quality score will get impacted. And at the start of the day, the floor manager or the shift manager would address the gathering of 400 plus folks, talking about what is going good, if any improvement is required or not, any new product launch from Amazon that the team should be made aware of, any new strategy in terms of customer service that's need to be imparted. So those things were discussed in those meetings. So in a nutshell, the organization gave a lot of avenues to the resources or their employees, having the leadership traits to lead people. And leadership and the leaders had the luxury to experiment, fail, and learn from their failure and take the leadership to the next level. So basically what I could see was the proliferation of both kind of leadership, the transactional as well as the transformational leadership. When I say transactional, it is more like you are doing a transaction with the other person. So you are giving a short-term goal to the other team member. And in terms of transformational, you are giving a goal, you are giving a long-term goal, you are helping and motivating them, setting the target for them for their career growth. So in short, the objective was to provide customer ecstasy. And all these learnings definitely helped me, or invariably it was there in my mind, ingrained in my mind, and helped me while the leadership baton was handed over me to lead the project teams in the IT organizations that I worked with later on. So with changing times and working with millennials alongside me, I needed to understand their aspirations and their tech-savvy ways to get the work done. So for me, leadership is like walking on a tightrope wherein you need to balance between, you cannot be too team-centric and play the cards for your teammates. You have to understand the customer needs and customer goals. And based on the urgency and criticality of the work, you have to get your team aligned. So all these lessons definitely helped me in my leadership journey. And in that particular organizations I worked with, like as I mentioned, Dux, the CEO of the organization, Mr. M.J. Arvind, he was a person or a personality, is the epitome of leadership qualities. He showed or exhibited great calmness during business pressures. And he used to give us a bigger picture all the while. And his favorite word or his favorite line when he was addressing the big gathering was, "I have a good news and a bad news to share with you. Which one you would like to hear first?" And then he would meticulously, in a storytelling format, would pass on the message, which used to work wonders. And in a couple of occasions, I have seen him climbing onto the desk and addressing the gathering so that he can have a good eye contact with everyone and can effectively put on the message across. So here, I have a good news for all of you. The leadership is a continuous journey, and we as Toastmasters are committed to accelerate it and cultivate all the good habits to do a great job. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sajay, for that inspiring speech. And certainly, I think I'll always remember the meaning of good news and bad news that you shared. With that, let's take 30 seconds to share feedback for the speaker. You can find him in the participant list, tag speaker 1. Please share feedback only on one-to-one basis on the chat right now. Let's move ahead with the second speaker. Today we'll attempt project 2 from level 3 of our path visionary communication. The project is using the presentation software. The evaluator for this speech is distinguished Toastmaster Seema. I request her to read out the objectives of the speech.
Thank you, Paja. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. The purpose statement for others' speech are: the purpose of this statement project is for the members to introduce or review basic presentation software strategies for creating and using slides to support or enhance a speech. Also, the purpose of this speech is for the member to demonstrate his or her understanding of how to use presentation software, including the creation of slides and incorporating the technology into a speech. I wish best of luck to Toastmaster Radha.
Thank you. I will be sharing my screen, so I just wanted to check if I can see
Please go
the
ahead.
timer.
You can go ahead.
I wanted to see if I can see Toastmasters Jitin's screen, because I don't want to miss him in case. So
All right, I'd like to interrupt here. I have allowed multiple screen sharing. So Zoom has this option of multiple participants can share simultaneously. We will we can take few seconds to check if Radha can view Jitin's screen.
Jitin, if you can also share the screen.
I'm sharing my screen. I hope.
Yes, please. Yeah.
I hope you are seeing Radha.
You have to scroll it down. You're not there, so.
I can see only one screen right now.
Yeah, I can see you're there next to me, but I can't see. Share the screen again. I can't see your screen.
Just a moment. Hold on. So for Radha, what I will suggest is on the top, just below your camera, you have view options.
View option as in where?
I have tried to give side by
Actually, opt for timer screen there.
On timer screen on Jitin, I can't even. I can pin his video. If I pin his video, can I see his screen?
No. In view options, you have shared screens, speaker 2 and timer Jitin. Can you see that? Under view options.
Okay, under view option.
Shared screen, you have speaker 2 and timer.
There is a view option under preview. I can't actually.
Can you see you are viewing timer Jitin Verghese screen? All right. What I suggest is let's not avoid and create confusion. Radha, just pin Jitin's video. You share your screen, and Jitin, you can indicate. While you will not be able to show, you can indicate using your phone or using your hand. Say
yes,
something. Whatever.
Hand. Yeah.
I hope that sounds fine, Jitin.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, Sanjay, for helping out with the technicalities. So time allowed for this speech, as I mentioned earlier, is 5 to 7 minutes. So the same sequence follows. The speaker here is happiness coach and firmly believes that empathy, compassion are the key ingredients to become a better version of yourself. So with that, let's welcome very radiant Toastmaster Radha. Toastmaster Radha, speak with confidence. Speak with confidence, Toastmaster Radha.
Thank you. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Well, my personal story of being an accidental speaker when I joined Toastmaster Club, and in 5 months' time, becoming a confident speaker is what I have gathered it together. And I hope some of you can have 1 or 2 takeaways from this presentation. What I truly believe is a low and a quivering voice, a person who is having this shaky feeling when he or she is trying to step out of that comfort zone and talking to hundreds of people or few people in front of him actually is still a lot better than those 1,000 silent men. So what is the confidence? Confidence is basically how you feel about yourself. And very naturally, some people get that confidence based on this kind of surroundings that they have, the circumstances they've been, the childhood that they have had. And for some people, it's a kind of a struggle to inculcate and to bring in and add a lot of values to their confidence. So my personal journey was somewhere between a confident, and I am usually a confident person. But when it comes about being a speaker, yes, I do get my anxiety. Yes, I do get my stresses. and how wonderfully this Toastmaster platform has allowed to shine out some of the skills which I wasn't aware of is what I have prepared. As we know that if you do a Google search, top 5 fear of world's fear, one of it is public speaking. So 74% of the people have this speech anxiety. And if you're one of them, if you're having this anxiety, you're not alone. You're amongst these 74% of the people. Good thing about is that there is a remedial, there is a certain steps to follow. And if you follow those steps, you can overcome these barriers. But it's very important to understand what are your barriers? What is it that's stopping you becoming a good or a confident speaker? It's like I said, it's very important to know what your fear is. And speaking to fellow Toastmasters and a few of my friends and colleagues, this is what I have put in together. People say it's a stage fear. There's a knowledge inhibitions, whether or not I know enough, whether my memory is good or sharp enough to remember the certain content that I want to deliver on the stage. I have a fear to forget everything. And then the fourth one is shy. I feel very shy when I face crowd or when I move onto the stage. The content, I'm not sure whether or not my content is valuable or how long I can stay on the stage to be able to deliver the content. And my favorite, anxiety. Because I remember when I joined the Toastmasters Club, I was in a very difficult situation where I was trying to overcome my own challenges in life. So I had a bit of an anxiety in my stomach to stand up and speak. And I've been constantly fighting through that. And it has helped me overcome. So let's talk about the first one, the stage fear. Why this stage fear is something very different than when you're sitting on a chair and talking about it. When I was putting this presentation together, I thought of standing and speaking because it is about a presentation. And if I don't fight with what kind of a fear I have, I won't be able to overcome. So doing a bit of a practice actually helps you overcome your barrier. Knowledge. It's a very interesting one when people say, do I know enough? And to answer that query, I would say, no, you will never know enough. The day you know enough, your learning comes to an end. And there will be no growth trajectory in your life. To have that kind of a fear is a good fear. Because in the proximity of the people that you belong to, there will be people who will have more knowledge than you, or they will be having a lot of skill set, a lot of other knowledge from their peripheral. So it's good to have that fear. Do I know enough? No, you'll never know enough. So don't let that barrier come in your way. That's something I have learned. Memory. How do you actually make this memory your tool? Because I don't remember anything. How do I present? I mean, when I'm talking here, I have a screen, I have a presentation in front of me. So this presentation become my memory tool to help me guide through. Maybe for you, it could be having few of the bullet points. Having the bullet points actually gives less stress to your brain, and it helps you retain the information that you want to. Shy. Shy is something that when I was reading this book written by Louise Hay called Mirror Work, and mirror work actually works as a wonder. Because when you look yourself in the mirror, you tell yourself, yes, you are enough and you can do it. And if you constantly, there are a few of the practices that has been advised by Louise Hay, it will help you overcome the shyness fear. The content is something that that we are not so sure that how to make up that content. If the subject, if you know your subject and you're passionate about talking, you will build the content because you're so passionate, you will never let it fall apart. You will make sure that it stays all intact by adding your personal stories to it. So even if you have got few of the outline and add personal stories to it, you have a beautiful content in front of you. Anxiety, Mr. Anxiety, every time I have to deliver a Toastmaster speech, a session, I have to conduct a session, I do get this churning effect in my stomach. But it doesn't bother me because I treat anxiety as Mr. Anxiety. And I say, I know you here, Mr. Anxiety. And I treat as in like shaking hand, and I let him sit. And I said, okay, you're more than welcome to come and sit, observe me, prepare me well. And when you're ready, you may leave. And deep breath actually helps you connect with your mind. So taking deep breaths help you fight your fear. These are the few points that I think that actually helps anyone become a very confident speaker, focusing on giving your best speech by ensuring that you are practicing it enough. Calm yourself down by breathing deeply. Breathing deeply means breathing from your stomach, like really at the bottom of the stomach, and know what the subject you're talking about. Okay, now it's a very interesting one. To become a dynamic presenter, you need to know what sort of body language is important when you're delivering a speech. In one of my previous speeches, I spoke about Dr. Albert Mehrabian's communication wheels, where he spoke about 7, 38 and 55, 7% of which is only the language and the words. Rest of the percentage, actually 93% is about your verbal and non-verbal communication. How do you communicate? Just by looking at people. It's very important. Maintaining the eye contact in the virtual world, it might be a little difficult because I'm not sure where people are and I can't maintain the eye contact. But as long as you can maintain the eye contact with your own screen, actually makes you a bit of a confident speaker. Having that smile is contagious, we all know, helps you calm down. And whenever you are asking a question, we all know, raising your own hand when you're asking a question, actually, you're making your audience become part of your speech. You're not just leaving them behind, actually connects very well with the audience. Just have to. And the voice and the tone is something that is very natural thing to people and very personal. So you can't do a lot of pretendance around it. Just let it flow the way that you are, and it's coming to you as a person. Don't let it, don't overact or underact. Just be who you are, and it will all come beautifully your way. So here's what I have to say about public speaking. You can speak well if your tongue can deliver the message of your heart. Speak about the subject that you're passionate about and you really feel it. You're not pretending for those, like what Aditya said, for 5 to 7 minutes. If you're living in your daily life, actually will make you a confident speaker, because during those 5 to 7 minutes, you still are the same person on screen as well as off the screen. Thank you very much. I'm not sure, Jitin, I can't even see your screen. So I wasn't sure about how did I do with the timing?
We'll come back to the timers report.
Oh, okay, because I did not see even any sign. That's why I'm asking. It's okay. It's done. Yeah.
Okay, you can stop sharing the screen now.
Yeah, wait, yeah.
So let us pause for 30 seconds and share feedback with Toastmaster Radha. You can use the chat window and share your feedback privately with her. You can show your appreciation by using the emoticons, the reactions available on the bottom of the window. Now let's have the timing report from Toastmaster Jitin. Toastmaster Jitin, can you please share the exact timings of both the speeches?
Yeah.
So
So
that the speakers qualified.
Yeah. So the speaker one spoke for 7 minutes and 21 seconds, Toastmaster Ajay, and speaker two spoke for 10 minutes and 22 seconds. So I believe only Toastmaster Ajay is qualified for today's evaluation.
Okay. Thank you for that, Toastmaster Jitin. So I think we have only one speaker who have qualified today. So there's no need to vote. So let's move on with our next session. And that is another showstopper for the evening today. You've got it right. It's a time for special musical performance. This person loves being a software developer apart from his interest in cooking. He has been playing guitar for over 5 years. He has been learning that bit by bit, which is gradually turned into kilobytes, then gigabytes, and now terabytes of expertise. Are you all ready for this performance? Show me some energy. Can we see?
Yes. Yes, we are ready.
All right, that's great. So let's all show thumbs up and claps on the reaction screen and welcome our performer of the day today, Abhishek Soni. Abhishek, over to you. You can be on the spotlight.
Hey, hello everyone. Am I audible? Just want to do a check.
A bit louder, Abhishek.
Just a moment.
Yes, it's better now. Yeah, better now.
So, hi everyone, I'm Abhishek and I was part of the Bane Toastmaster Club last year. So, firstly, I would just like to thank the Bane Toastmaster Club and Tanisha for inviting me on the celebration wherein we are completing the 200 meetings of the Bane Toastmaster Club. So, it's just fun. So, today I will be performing, I will be doing a song. And you must recognize the song. This is from the theme song of Friends, the season which we have. So it's the theme song. So I'll just begin. Just allow me to grab my guitar and we'll just start off. So no one told you life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you're broke, your love life's the away. It's like you're always stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year. But I'll be there for you. When the rain starts to pour, I'll be there for you. Like you've been there before, I'll be there for you. 'Cause you're there for me too. You're still in bed at 10, but begin a day. You burnt your breakfast so far and things are going great. Your mother wants you there be days like these, but she didn't tell you what the world has gone to, down to your knees. And I'll be there for you. When the rain starts to pour, I'll be there for you. Like I've been there before, I'll be there for you. 'Cause you're there for me too. 'Cause you're there for me too. 'Cause you're there for me too. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. It was.
Thank you very much, Abhishek. That was wonderful.
Thank you so much, and I congratulate the Baner Toastmaster Club for completing the 200 meetings.
Thank you for your wishes, and I'm sure the club and all of us will be around to help each other, and we'll be there as you sang through this beautiful song. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, guys, are you ready for another round of puzzles? Let me share my screen quickly, and let's quickly go through round of puzzles here. And again, as I said, answers only to me through the chat window, please, and nothing else. All right. So this round, as the name suggests, is work it out. And what it means is that there are some images that you will see on the screen. And what you need to do is to connect those and come up with a relevant phrase or word that it means. So I think I've already started getting the answers because I think my screen was visible. So let me move on to the screen and I think you can figure out. So this is the first question in round 2. So Puneet, Abhinav, Amit Chakravarti have all got it right. So this is a phrase, and you have to connect these pictures to get the phrase right. Anyone who can suggest the meaning of the phrase as well? Yes, so a lot of correct answers. So the answer is raining cats and dogs, and the meaning is raining heavily. So let's move on to the second question. So this is a word, this is not a phrase. Slightly tricky. So the clue is why the word stone is written in this way. What does it make? Does it have a 90-degree angle? No. That's the clue. Good attempt, but it's a word, it's not a phrase. No, I think that answers as yet. Vinod, you are getting into right. Vinod, the other, you are getting into the right area, Puneet. Direction. The correct answer is cornerstone, because the stone is forming a corner here. So slightly tricky question here. This is the phrase. The next question. This is the phrase. You have to connect the two pictures. Yes, Puneet, you got it right. Amit Chakrabarti, you got it right. Bina ma'am, Swapnil, Divyesh, Divyesh, you have not got it right. Ankita, Ayush, Dubey, all correct answers. The answer is heart of gold. That's the right answer. So this is again a picture, again a phrase. Prashant, you got it right. Meena ma'am, Swapna, Ayush Dubey, all correct answers. Hemant, that's not the correct answer. Think of a phrase. Direction is right, but you have to get the answer right. Why there are two pictures under one another? No, Ankita, that's not the right answer. Amit Chakrabarti, you got it right. Okay, so the correct answer is under the weather. That means you're not well. So this is again a phrase. So there are two hints here. Dinam, you got it right. Spot on. Anyone else? Look at this superhero character and why that person is in this image and what is there underneath. So you might be able to get the answer right. So name of the superhero is same as the left side picture as well, of the camera and the equipment with the camera. Amit Chakraborty, you got it right. Prashant, not the right answer. You got into a very different direction. So the correct answer is flash in the pan. So the superhero is Flash. The camera equipment is also Flash, and they are both in the pan. So the answer is flash in the pan. Okay, so with that, I finished the round 2 and I stopped sharing my screen. Going back to the next in the sequence for our agenda. Do we have time for break here?
Hi, Parijat.
Okay, so let's take maybe a minute's break here.
Parijat, am I audible?
Yes, Tanisha, yes.
So, Parijat, it is already 6:07 and we are running behind time.
Okay,
So I
okay,
would suggest we do not take a break, and we would be requiring an extension also of the meeting, so it would be beyond 6:30. So I request everyone just to have patience, and since it was a celebration time for us, so we might go beyond 6:30 for today's meeting.
Sure. Thanks, Tanisha, for sharing that. And we'll be skipping the break. So, so in that case, let me invite the next person on the stage. And this person is an amazing speaker and is the winner of Table Topics contest at our club. So this session that she will be conducting is about impromptu speaking, and we are focusing on table topics session. So let me get Ankita, who's again, like as I said, amazing speaker, and give her the spotlight. Over to you, Ankita.
Thank you, Toastmaster Parijat. Just wanted to confirm, are we taking up a break or we're continuing with the session?
We are continuing with the session. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. And my name is Ankita, and I'm the table topic master for today. And because of paucity of time, we'll not be having our usual round robin session. We will only conduct the table topics session. So what essentially is a table topics concept, right? For the guests who are present with us today, table topics is essentially impromptu speaking. And as Toastmaster Radha mentioned in her speech, it's one of the most feared things in the world. So what better opportunity than to explore and learn from this platform where you get the opportunity to speak impromptu and yet nobody judges you. So as far as the concept of table topics is concerned, we focus on 4 main elements. One is listening, to test your listening ability, so that because when I give the topic, you should be able to comprehend, first listen to it, comprehend in your mind. Second is thinking, like I said, taking further, comprehend, understanding what does it mean, and organizing your thoughts. And that's where the third aspect of organizing comes in. Finally, being able to deliver it. So those are the 4 elements that encapsulates the impromptu speaking session. I also want to highlight that the timing sequence for this is 1 to 2 minutes. And for you to be able to qualify for the best table topic speaker, you must speak for a minimum of 1 minute and maximum of 2 minutes, 30 seconds, beyond which you will get disqualified. So I believe the rules are clear. And I also want to encourage our fellow speakers to use the word of the day, which is cultivate, and to use the phrase of the day, which is kick up your heads. So being a table topics master today, I'm extremely excited, and I'd like to now start with the session. So to start off, the concept that I just want to introduce for today is that I will take a famous quote or a famous saying, which you'd often have heard, and leave it in between. I'll not complete the quote, I'll leave it in between, and then the speaker has to take it forward with his or her story. So I hope that's clear to everyone. With that, I'd now like to invite my favorite, and I'm biased here when I say this, but I want to invite my favorite speaker, distinguished Toastmaster, Beena Manrekar. Yes, Beena ma'am, are you on mute?
No, I have unmuted.
Right. So the topic for you is when life offers you a lemon. When life offers you a lemon, distinguished Toastmaster Beena.
Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters and guests. When life offers you a lemon, go to life and ask for some more vegetables and some more fruits. What will you do with a lemon? At least with the other fruits and other vegetables, you can make a salad, you can make a fruit salad. So don't settle for the lemon. Cultivate other fruits and kick your heels when you see a whole basket of them. Because as Aditya just mentioned, that you are the person that speaks in front of the audience. You are the person, you don't have to be pretending something. You have to just speak your heart out. And that is what I would ask of life. I will not be satisfied with a lemon. I will not even make a lime juice out of it because that's the end of the lemon. So therefore, I would ask life to give me fruits. Even in the state of lockdown, your theme is better you. I am good with myself. I don't want to be a better you because I have a lot to look forward in the good me. I have to look inward. I have to develop more. And since we are talking about milestones, initially a milestone was an achievement for me, but now a milestone is someone else's achievement, my mentee's achievement, someone who I'm cultivating, that person's achievement. So life has different shades. And if life is just offering you a lemon, don't be satisfied. Ask for more. Enjoy the whole repertoire of fruits, repertoire of vegetables. Make a salad, make a fruit salad, and live life to the fullest. Over to you.
Thank you. Can we have a round of applause for distinguished Toastmaster Beena ma'am? Thank you. Thank you so much. Wonderful. I never thought that I could cultivate a tricky topic that way, the way that you did. So you often, surprise us. So thanks so much. Now and I'm hoping that the timer screen is visible to everyone. Right. Thank you. All right. So without further ado, I have, I have very interested speakers today. So I have received nomination from another speaker. So now this concept is slightly different. It's known as the for and against concept, right? So I will give a topic and the speaker will have to speak for until this time I say switch. As soon as I say switch, the speaker will have to speak on the topic against. I hope that's clear. If I can get a thumbs up.
I just have one clarification to ask. Is this like one person is debating against himself?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So I'm glad that Toastmaster Swapna, you're clear because you're up next. All right. So with that, let's invite Toastmaster Swapna. So round of applause, Toastmaster Swapna.
Thank you.
All right. So Toastmaster Swapna, the concept is for and against, and yes, you're the only one who's going to be participating in this. Now, your topic is women are complicated. Women complicated, Toastmaster Swapna.
I start with the first for and then I start with against, right?
Yeah. Unless when I say switch, then you move to the second part of the motion.
Okay, sure. So beginning for and then against.
Yes.
Okay, fine. They say when God created women, he was in a different state of mind. Probably he had a fight with his wife and he was thinking that, oh my God, what am I going to do? And during that time, he wasn't even himself. He was in a different state and he was thinking, oh, okay, I will create a perfect specimen. But then after he finished, he did not even realize what have I created. Women are the most simplest person in the world. Have you seen your mother? She has only one thing. She never uses her head. She always uses her heart. If you are hungry, and if you are not hungry, she will be right there feeding you every single time. So women only think from their heart and not from their head. So if you want to understand them, you have to think from your heart and not through your head. Because if you are going to think through your head, you are never going to understand them. You are going to always think that they are complicated. What are they doing? Why do they take 10 hours or 5 hours or 6 hours to get ready? They are doing it for you so that they can be the best for you. Yes, absolutely. You will think that she is going to say no, but her no also has yes and also no. If you ask her, are you free tomorrow? She will say, not sure. But in that, what she wants you to do exactly is she wants you to tell her, please, I would love to meet you. It will be so nice to see you. So that no also has multiple facets towards it. It's sometimes even I don't understand when she says she wants to just eat salad. Is she trying to diet or is she trying to tell me that, no, girl, you are not fat. You are great as the way you are. So I believe that women are always complicated. Their no's, their yes, and sometimes their I don't knows. They just don't make sense most of the times.
Thank you so much. Can we have a round of applause? That was a very well attempted for and against. So kudos to you for that. Very interesting. Thank you so much for being a sport. All right. We have yeah. So we'll take, I believe this is a guest who's volunteered to take a table topic. Now the concept for this one is a simple one. It's the usual concept wherein I give a topic and you speak on the topic, right? So with that, I'd like to invite Priya Jain. Can we have the spotlight on Priya Jain? And Priya Jain, if you can.
Hi.
Great. Right. So I will give you the topic now. Your topic is, can you be in dirt and yet be apart from dirt? Can you be in dirt and yet be apart from dirt? Priya Jain, over to you.
We all right now are in the middle of the dirt where we are either in a direct or an indirect way forced to be in this. But being in this dirt, that means being against or being all the happenings which is happening wrong outside, we still are inside. The best part out of this is that we are trying to transform ourselves. The best utilization of during this time is that how we grow, how we actually take each step each day to become a better person after this lockdown. So whether it is bad or good, it all is in our mind. Whether we deal up with a positive mindset or a negative mindset, it's all on us. So yes, being in dirt but still getting out of it, transforming the dirt. It's like the flower like of the lotus, which is built in the mud but still have its fragrance. So we all can be in dirt but still be happy. Many of us in during this lockdown can enjoy the beautiful moments of their life, but sometimes they feel that this lockdown is not an opportunity and it's just that they are sitting at their house. Many things have been affected, the economy, the anything, many things can be affected, but the one thing is for sure, there is no thing called right or wrong. It's all a perspective, it's all the way we live in life. So being in dirt, if you can make the dirt as a beautiful sand and paint your own picture of your life, that creates an opportunity for your life and you always blossom. That's why you're a part of dirt, but still unique the way you are. Over to you.
Wow, round of applause for Priya Jain. That was a beautiful analogy and something that all of us here today and across the world can definitely relate to.
Thank you.
I would like to take one more table topic because I've got another request. This will be the last one. Unfortunately, I wish I could take more. So one last one, and this is for the host. All right, great. Okay, with that, the concept that we'll move to is back to the first concept that I had introduced, which was where I take a famous quote or a saying, something which you guys must have heard of, and I leave it in between and the speaker has to take it forward, right? So with that, I'd like to invite Toastmaster Puneet from Nashik Toastmasters Club. Toastmaster Puneet, can you please unmute yourself?
Am I audible or am I sounding horrible?
So far audible.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So I hope you got the concept. It's the first concept that I had given to distinguished Toastmaster Veena ma'am. So your topic, Puneet, is every cloud has a Toastmaster Puneet.
We all of us have heard that every cloud has a silver lining, but there is always a golden line to that as well. Good evening, everybody. I still remember back in my college engineering days, when I was just hoping that I'll somehow engineering graduation. I thought that I'll somehow get placement, only to realize that I was failing miserably. In fact, grades were pathetic. I used to know so many other things that I look back at. I was like the jack of all. And you may not believe it, I was the only boy in the entire city to participate in competitions. But then I realized that involving way too much is not a good way to master any skill. And that's when my mentor came and made me realize harsh fact that if you make everything a priority, nothing will be a priority. And found a golden lining to this principle. Then I narrowed down my priorities. I began to focus on things which mattered the most. Toastmasters was my priority, quizzing my priority, and also academics as well. I somehow managed to juggle all these things. And in the end, I was able to sail through and manage a good job. When I look back and connect this dot, there was this golden rule I realized. It's always better to prioritize things which matters the most. Too often in our life, we all found that we somehow we want to be master at everything. Great husband, great spouse or whatever, great postmaster, great job, a great boyfriend or girlfriend and whatnot. But then when I look back, I realized that the best thing to clear all this confusion is to sort out what things which matters the most. This harsh experience made me realize that every cloud does have silver lining. Or to add on, it's a golden line if you are able to seek through it as well. I found that the opportunities through pricing. What about you? Over to you.
Awesome. Round of applause for Toastmaster Puneet. Thank you so much. This was a great session. With that, let's have the timer's report, please.
Yeah, hope I'm audible. So we have 4 table topic speakers, out of which speaker 1, distinguished Toastmaster Veena ma'am, spoke for 1 minute 46 seconds. Guest Swapna spoke for 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Guest Priya Jain spoke for 1 minute and 43 seconds. Last but not the least, Toastmaster Puneet spoke for 2 minutes and 8 seconds. So as per the timing, everyone is qualified for the topic. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jitin. What that essentially means is that we can proceed with votes. So the first speaker was distinguished Toastmaster Veena. Second was Toastmaster Swapna. Third was guest Priya. And fourth was Toastmaster Puneet. So please cast in your vote. Just want to check, are we circulating the link for voting?
Yes, Vinod is sharing it. The Sergeant at Arms Vinod is sharing the link.
Right. So there we have the link on the chat. Please go ahead and vote for the best table topic speaker for the day. Super. With that, I had a great session, and I'd like to now hand over the control to the Toastmaster of the day, Parijat. Thank you.
Thank you, Ankita, for that very interesting session. I think you brought out variety of formats in those table topics, and I'm sure all of us enjoyed that. So at Toastmasters, evaluations are all about learning. Commendations and recommendations are given in a very constructive way, helping us all to cultivate better practices and be better us. So with that, we get into our second section, which is about evaluation. And let's all welcome bright, young, tall Toastmaster Nishant, who is the general evaluator, and he will take us through the evaluations. Over to you, Nishant.
Thank you, Toastmaster Parijat. So as a general evaluator, it's my job to take you all through the evaluation and later on the evaluation of the meeting as a whole. So let us begin with the speech evaluations. First speech would be evaluated by Toastmaster Nisarg, and the speech was given by Toastmaster Ajay. And timer, please note the lightning sequence or timing sequence is 2 minutes, green card, 2.5 minutes, amber or yellow, 3 minutes, red, 3.5 minutes, buzzer for the evaluation. And now I would like to invite Toastmaster Nisarg, our first evaluator, on stage.
Good evening, all. What a wonderful speech given by Toastmaster Ajay. And also it was very motivational speech. Your speech topic was so interesting that automatically many of them were interested to listen your speech. You started your speech with 3 members that motivated you in the path of your leadership. That is the CEO, CTO, and CEO of the company. And with that, you relate and help others to relate your leadership skills with that inspirational person. You also mentioned about the teamwork, which is very important. There may be a chance that the person is fired up in any of the organization. And I was really relating your speech with the message given by the distinguished. Also thinking that you gave the speech after so long time, but you really did so well in your speech by also explaining about the 2 different qualities, that is the translation and the transformational leadership qualities. And I really liked one sentence that you spoke in your speech, that is, leadership is a continuous journey. Also, to make your speech to next level, I have some recommendation. As your speech was regarding the leadership style, I couldn't find out your leadership style in your speech. You started about the translation and the transformational qualities at around 4 minutes 45 seconds in your speech. But I couldn't find that how did it helped you in your leadership style. And also it would be better that if you had started the about 2 different qualities much earlier, like around 2 minutes, so that would also help the audience to connect with your speech more better. Otherwise, you did a fabulous job today, and with some vocal variety improvement, you can make even your speech more better. And if you implement some of my recommendation, I am sure that your good speech will transform into the great speech and also to the best speech. So I wish you all the best for your further speeches. Over to your general evaluator, Toastmaster Nishant.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nisarg. Next speech that was given by Toastmaster Radha would be evaluated by DTM Seema. So I welcome DTM Seema on stage.
Thank you, Nishant. Am I audible?
Perfect.
Am I visible? Timer, can you restart? And just can't see. I'm just checking the settings.
I'm just resetting it again.
Yes. All right. Thank you. Good evening, Toastmasters, dear guest. I'm going to evaluate Radha's speech, which was about speaking with confidence. Let me start with the excellent points which she excelled at. Firstly, great topic to start with. The objective also says choose a topic which is relevant to the audience and also where you can use the presentations, which was done brilliantly. What better topic to choose than telling public speakers how to speak confidently? Secondly, she had a clear voice modulation was also good, and she had all kept it interesting and relevant till the end for the audience. So she kept audience in mind, and it was very vivid that she had the authority on the content. The way she was speaking, the body language, the gestures were coming so natural that it was going all well with the speech. That made me think that is she speaking with preparedness or with impromptu? I'll come to that later point, but then it was amazing to see the pointer she come up with, which was helpful, and the way she was presenting it. Last point on that, excellence was PPT design. Now that was objective as well. The slides were designed as per the standards. Now standard says keep some catchy pictures, have not more than 6 lines, not each sentence not more than 6 words. Now all of that was followed, and they make us also learn how to make an effective presentation. Now if your slides are looking like what Radha's slides were, I think you're doing a fabulous job. Now Radha may want to work upon 2 aspects to make her speech just brilliant and people just come to Radha and ask, how do I present my speech? The first one, preparing well, is the key. Now why I say so, when she was speaking, at some point of time, I think she was pausing a little bit unnecessarily or looking aside, maybe at watch or something, and also couple of times she repeated the words. That made me think, is she underprepared? With the content, of course, the presentation was prepared, that means she has prepared, but she was recalling the point or she was improvising on the go. Now that moves to the second point, that she went over time. Maybe that could be one of the reasons that if she has timed her speech while preparing, it would have helped her. Moving to the second point was with the objectives, that you have to use the slides and technology and make people aware how to use it effectively. Now she has brilliant slide. She was standing, like you see, she said, she will stand and use her body language, which was a brilliant idea. But she could have used the presenter, maybe she use a slide changer. That would have made it very effective for her to show the technology and also make her presentation very effective. So using the slider would have been added value for her. But overall, to summarize, I think she has a great body language, vocal variety, eye contact, comfort, audience kept in mind. The content was brilliant. So overall, a great topic and a great presentations. Thank you. Over to the general evaluator.
Thank you so much, DTM Seema. Now I would request timer for the timing reports.
Yeah. So we had 2 evaluators. First evaluator, Toastmaster Nisarg, spoke for 2 minutes and 34 seconds.
Yep.
And second evaluator, Toastmaster Seema, spoke for 3 minutes and 8 seconds. So both of the evaluators are qualified. Congratulations.
I request Sergeant at Arms to forward the voting link for the best evaluator, and I request everyone to vote for the best evaluator who you think was the best. So
The
go
link
ahead.
is being shared in a minute. Please allow me one moment.
Yeah. No issues. Yep. Yeah, so let's move ahead with our reports. Next, I would like to invite the R counter for today's meeting, Toastmaster Gitika, with her R counters report.
Very good evening to all of you again. So I was carefully listening to everyone, and what I have done to make it much more easier, I have divided, if it is the crutch words, if it is less than 2, I have named as green. If it is less than 5, as yellow, and if it is more than 5, then it is red. So right now, with Tanisha, Ajay, Toastmaster Tanisha, Toastmaster Ajay, Toastmaster Ankita, and Toastmaster Priya. Guest Priya is green, that is less than 2 for AHA and AMS. And Toastmaster Jitin and Toastmaster Radha is red. They've used more than 5 times AHA and AMS. And Toastmaster Aditya is again green. I was noting him also. And Toastmaster Jitin, he has used like and so it is green, that is less than 2. Toastmaster Ajay, again, so he has used less than 2 times, it's green. For Toastmaster Radha, again green. And guest Priya is green. Toastmaster Nisarg, he has not used any AHA arms, but he has used like, so it's green. And we have some flawless speakers: Toastmaster Parijat, Toastmaster Sanjay, Toastmaster Vinod, DTM Beena ma'am, Toastmaster Swapna, Toastmaster Puneet, and DTM Seema. And over to our general evaluator. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gitika, with your report. Next, I would like to invite our language evaluator, Toastmaster Divyesh, with his language evaluator report.
Hello, everyone. So today, word of the day has been used 6 times. Parijat and Beena ma'am has used word of the day 2 times. Ajay has used 1 time, and one more guest has used 1 time. Phrase of the day has been used 4 times. Parijat has used 1 time, Beena ma'am has used 1 time, and 2 more guests has used 2 times. Now I'll read about the good usages which has been said in the meeting. Leadership is all about uncertainty. Digital transformation can be disruptive. Ability to embrace difference and opinion. High performance leadership pressure. Forgiving for inadequacy. Egocentric image. Job of leader is to unburden them, stay relevant, find a space for them in this world. Relationship starts with the right assessment. The world has enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone greed. Tech savvy. Epitome of leadership quality. Speech anxiety. Growth trajectory. Live life to the fullest. Women think from her heart, not from her head. How we can transform ourselves. Now, some of the not good usages, I'll not say the name, but transform. It should be transform ourselves, but not ourself. Somebody has used I was failing, but it should be I failed. Somebody has used you did well, but it should be you have done well. So this is the end of report. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Divyesh, for your language evaluator's report. And finally, it's time for the general evaluation. Wow, 200 meeting. I mean, I love the energy we had today. It actually felt like Sachin Tendulkar scoring a 200 during first 200 during his match. I mean, all of the people, all the participants were on fire, had top energy. Let me talk about all the participants and the role players for today's meeting. Let me begin with Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Vinod. Now, Sergeant at Arms is the first voice, is the first person that anyone who comes to the club sees or listens to. And Toastmaster Vinod, you did a fantastic job as Sergeant at Arms. You were energetic, you were smiling, you explained all the rules, and also you explained all the rules of online meeting as well. Because script doesn't have online meeting rules, but you also improvised it and modified it and told it to the audience. That was well done. Commendable job, I would say. Next comes the presiding officer's address. Now, PO, presiding officer's address is by the presiding officer, and presiding officer is the leadership and the face of the club. And Toastmaster Tanisha, you did a fantastic job by giving a PO. The best part was you told a story. You were motivating. You gave a reason for the audience to, or the guest in the audience to join Toastmasters. So I would say you did a fantastic job. Now, today we had a lot of guests, so it was not possible for you to take guest introductions. But next time, if we have a controlled number of guests, maybe you can work on the guest introductions. That would be amazing. But I would say you also acknowledge the fact we had a lot of dignitaries here. So you acknowledge them. Well done on that. Amazingly done. And then I would commend I have a special commendation for Toastmaster Sanjay, who did a fantastic session with DTM Aditya. I mean, you framed the questions, you made it in such a way, you like molded in such a way that it was relatable yet simple for us. I mean, we could take something or the else from it. And the best part was we could relate that, yes, it has happened to me. Even I am a club officer. I could relate that, yes, these are the challenges even I have faced. So thank you so much for keeping a fantastic session for us. Well done. Thank you so much for that session. Well done. Next, I would like to come to the R counter. That was played by Toastmaster Gitika. Now, R counter it might seem like a simple role, but when it comes to an online meeting, it's a very attentive role. You have to be very attentive and listen to each and every sentence that has been spoken by anyone. And Toastmaster Gitika, you did phenomenal job by playing the role of R counter. The best part was your report was innovative. You gave green, orange, yellow. That was the great way to present it to the audience. And also you said that some of the words that were most used by a lot of speakers. So what happens? Most of us might know that, yes, I speak like this. I have spoken some of the filler words, but I don't know which of. But you told them specifically. So that was well done. It was a crisp report, and you also mentioned the flawless speaker. So well done on your job as R counter. Now I'll come to the language evaluator. Now, job of the language evaluator is to help us emancipate ourselves from the language or grammatical errors that we have been making, and also emancipate ourselves from the vocabulary that we have been using. And Toastmaster Divyesh, you gave a simple word of the day and phrase of the day, which we could use in our day-to-day lives. I mean, cultivate. Cultivate is a simple word, but yet it gives a different meaning when you use it in a sentence properly. So well done on that. You gave a simple word of the day, sentence, and phrase of the day. I would say that, yes, you introduced your role perfectly. You asked the audience for the usage. So you can gauge that, yes, is the audience able to use it or not? That was well done. And you also talked about the thumbs up rule that is very essential when it comes to Toastmasters meeting, because it helps us encourage people to use word of the day and phrase of the day. Well, I just have one recommendation for you, and that is you did talk about the meanings. There were some good usages in the meeting, but you didn't tell why there were good usages and the meaning of that particular sentence or that particular phrase that was being used. So I have a recommendation for anyone who tries to take up language evaluator in the next meeting or upcoming meetings. Try to inculcate this or cultivate this habit of explaining why it was a good usage or what in meaning of it. But overall job well done. Next, I come to the timer. Now, timer is very essential for any meeting, whether it be offline or online. And Toastmaster Jitin, you did a fantastic job. Plus, you innovated the whole how to show the timings. You made it share screen use. You made it buzzer. That is quite essential because most of the time speakers tend to forget that, yes, I've missed the mark. But that buzzer was quite audible for us, and you did a great job with it. So I would say innovation, well done. You explained your role perfectly. So it was job well done. Next, I would come to the table topics master, Toastmaster Ankita. As usual, Toastmaster Ankita explained her role. She was amazing on stage. I mean, whenever she comes on stage, you love listening to her. And then I would say the topics. Oh my God, topics were amazing. I mean, even I went to started thinking that, yes, how would I frame it? You see, that is very important for table topics master, to frame a topic in such a way that even if you're not on stage, you start thinking, and that is quite essential. And I must say, Toastmaster Ankita did a phenomenal job as a table topics master. Well done. Then comes our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Parijat. Oh my God, Toastmaster Parijat, you were a total package on stage. You had energy, you were innovative, you were engaging. Oh my God, Toastmaster Parijat, you were fantastic on stage. There wasn't even a single moment where I felt that the energy of the meeting went down, because Toastmaster of the day is an important role whose job is to make sure the meeting is at the peak. And there was not even a single moment where I felt that meeting energy was going down. You kept us all on our toes. You kept us engaged. That was fantastically done. You circulated the agenda well on time. Amazing. You chased the role players. You did fantastic. And the best part I must commend was, there are times when we say there is a change in the agenda. But what you did was you changed it in the last moment and just circulated a better or the last version of the final draft of the agenda. So that was well done. That is something that a future TMOD role can also take up. That since you are using your laptops, you can just edit it and send it on the group. So you don't have to mention the specifically, yes, this role has been changed or that role has been changed. So that was well done. Toastmaster Parijat, you always keep me engaged and entertained whenever you are on stage. Any role you play, you always bring innovation and that energy. Commendable job. Well done, Toastmaster Parijat. Now we come to the evaluators. First speech was evaluated by Toastmaster Nisarg, that was given by Toastmaster Ajay. Now, Toastmaster Nisarg followed the method of commendation, recommendation, and summary. Well, you did a fantastic job with that. You gave a good evaluation, but I want to just give you a recommendation that you can not comment on what content a speaker can bring or which content he should include. As an evaluator, we have to just evaluate what they have spoken and how they have spoken. We cannot comment on the content. It's their choice and they're independent of it. So just avoid that. But overall, well done. Now, my favorite BTMC, you gave a phenomenal evaluation. You followed the CRC approach perfectly. And the best part was you kept in mind that this evaluation, not only for the speaker, but also for the people who are listening to it. So you gave the commendation, recommendation, the tips perfectly that everyone could take up, that yes, if I give a speech, if I'm making this mistake, I can do this, do that. That was well done. Just the small recommendation for you, Toastmaster Seema, is that you said that, yeah, I felt this was not on point. This was, so whenever you do that, just pinpoint that which was that exact phrase or that exact part where you felt it wasn't up to the mark. If you do that, I think there's no one who can challenge you when it comes to evaluation. Overall job, well done. And overall, I would say the meeting was on point. People were engaging, people were participating. There was not even a single point where I felt that, no, people are just losing the interest. No, each and every session was on point. And finally, I would like to thank Toastmaster Abhishek. I mean, what a performance. I have been a part of Friends for following for years and years. And listening to that song definitely made me nostalgic. And that special touch you gave to that song, oh my God, amazing. Because of you, we were able to take energy to a whole new level. So I would say, well done, Toastmaster Abhishek, with your performance. Thank you so much for gracing us with your performance. Well done. I hope I've covered all the role players. And now, finally, I would like to give my control to Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Parijat. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Nishant, for that enriching evaluation and appreciating everyone's contribution for the meeting. Thank you very much for that. Now it's time for us to vote for the best role player of the day. And I think Sergeant at Arms has already circulated the link on the chat window. So I request all of you to vote for the best role player. So we had Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Vinod, Timer, Toastmaster Jitin, Language Evaluator, Toastmaster Divyesh, R Counter, Toastmaster Geetika, Table Topics Master, Toastmaster Ankita, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Nishan, and Toastmaster of the Day, yours truly, Parijat. So please cast your votes using the link. So journey of being better, you never ends. Whatever you do in whatever direction that you do, it will better you, it will give you some confidence, and that will begin to attract more around you. And all of this gives you nothing but a sense of satisfaction, at times sense of fulfillment, and maybe a sense of joy. And what is success? Perhaps a combination of satisfaction, fulfillment, joy. I think that's what it is. So with that, let me hand it over to our presiding officer to give away the awards and to close the meeting. So let me welcome Toastmaster Tanisha with a big round of applause.
Thank you, Toastmaster Parijat. And with this, I had an amazing experience today, and I hope everyone who joined, though the count of participants has reduced, but I hope everyone who is present now, you all enjoyed the meeting, the keynote speaker, and the session of singing, which was by Toastmaster Abhishek. So Toastmaster Abhishek, I would like to thank you for accepting that, and agreeing to play and sing on our milestone meeting. And welcome back to your club. And a special thanks to Toastmaster Sanjay for bringing in Toastmaster DTM Aditya for this keynote speak on this milestone meeting. And not to forget Toastmaster Parijat, you were an amazing host today. Like the way you carried the meeting, it was amazing. You were doing multitasking, and the entire week, your preparations and agenda on time, everything was bang on. So I'm so happy and I'm glad to have all the members and so active members today. And we had an amazing 200th meeting, milestone meeting. So a great round of applause for everyone. And since we are again we are running behind time. So without a further ado, I would just request all the guests, Toastmasters or non-Toastmaster guests who are still here, since we don't have time to take feedback personally, so I would request each and every one of you to write in and give the feedback on chat. And if there is something which you like, or if there's something which you would like us to improve upon, be it online or offline sessions, so we'll definitely try to work on that. And then moving forward, we have a moment of glory for many of us today. And the first session was of best speaker, prepared speeches. So the best speaker today, we all know it is Toastmaster Ajay. So a round of applause for Toastmaster Ajay. Next up, we had table topic session, and I really appreciate the topics and the innovative things which Toastmaster Ankita came up with. And the best table topic speaker is Toastmaster Swapna. Toastmaster Swapna is not here, but again, a round of applause for her. We'll get in touch with her and then we'll share the online certificate with her. Next up, we had evaluation session, which was carried by Toastmaster Nishant. And the two evaluators were Toastmaster Radha and Toastmaster Seema. And the best evaluator for today's evening is the evaluators were Toastmaster Nisarg and Toastmaster Seema. So the best evaluator is DTM Seema.
Yay!
Applause for DTM Seema.
Thank you.
Okay, and next up, we have the best role player. Any guesses? to whom this goes?
Parijat.
Parijat,
Yay! And
Parijat,
that's what
Parijat. Yay!
So the online
Congratulations.
yeah, congratulations to all the winners. And with this,
Congratulations.
and with this, I announce the meeting to be adjourned, and we will be having a fellowship. So all of you who is still high on heels, you all can join us on the fellowship, and we'll be celebrating our bicentennial meeting at the fellowship. A round of applause for all of us again.
And fellowship expenses are bared by Toastmaster Sanjay, just so you know.
Oh my God, come on, please let me free Nishant. Oh.
Can we all switch on our videos so that I can take a picture?
Yeah, but please ensure the one with Aditya becomes the group picture.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, take this also. That's perfectly fine. Where's Amit?
What are we supposed to do today?
Obviously, thumbs up.
200.
Double thumbs up.
Where's Amit?
Let's do this.
Can we have everyone switch on their videos, please, for just a moment?
Amit Chakraborty, we have admired your picture enough.
Bhavna, Sakshi,
goggles.
Kumar, Sheetal, can you please switch on your videos for 2 seconds?
Amit Chakraborty.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
So,
What are we doing?
all right.
Do this, yeah.
Yo.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Jitin is doing correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you, everyone. Well done. Great meeting.
A lot of messages coming in of thank you. We will take the
Yeah,
time.
thank you for all the feedback and all the wishes.
Thank you very much, guys.
all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
How many charter
Bye.
members? How many charter members? Bina ma'am, Seema, how many charter members? Baner charter members in the house. How many?
Thank you, Peter ma'am, for joining. Seema.
Seema dropped off.
No, we don't know all the names though.
Okay.
Sanjay, I was curious to know how did you get in touch with Aditya and brought him here for the meeting?
All right, interesting story. I messaged him on WhatsApp and he said, okay, we'll do it.
Okay.
I am not connected with him on WhatsApp, but so I was referring to this 2017 convention again and again. That was when I was very new to Toastmasters, hardly 6-7 months. And that time we used to have semi-annual conferences. And that was the semi-annual conference of District 92 in Bangalore. And I was a participant in one of the contests, a different contest there. Aditya was the keynote speaker. And I'll share, I think I shared the link on the group, Dissolve the Notes. Have a look at that YouTube session. It is just fantastic. So that day I spoke to him, in detail post the session. He's a very friendly and very approachable person. So then I'm connected with him on LinkedIn and Facebook. He's a member. He was earlier a member of MTM, Mumbai Toastmasters Club. So I know one person there. From there, I got the contact.
Okay. Great.
What's happening? Oh my God. Ankita and Gitika. Okay, mentor-mentee talks. All right. Yeah, so I pinged him on WhatsApp and he was kind enough to accept in no time.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Congratulations to all of us. Thank you so much. I think we have a guest who's joined all the way from the overseas.
Yeah.
Let me unmute all.
Can we hear from you?
Are you talking to Nikinji?
Yes.
Yes,
Right.
yes, we're speaking to you. Hi.
Yes, it's a pleasure. It's wonderful to join you. I made a concerted effort to get up early to tune in because I have been tuned in from 8 o'clock a.m. my time in Atlantic time. So I made a concerted effort to join you because I am trying to learn about as many online activities. And you guys are just phenomenal. I picked up some great tips from you. So thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your 200th meeting. My club is the Bermuda Toastmasters Club, and we have celebrated 412 meetings.
Wow, fantastic.
That's great.
Yeah.
And thank you for taking time out and waking up so early for attending our meeting.
Thank you. It's worthwhile, and it's definitely a cultivating experience. So thank you so much.
Thank you so
That's
much.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Guys, I'll have to drop off. We'll connect again next Saturday.
Okay, well, most
This was such an
definitely.
amazing sequence. Wait. I can see.
I will be there. I will be there. Most definitely next Saturday.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. To have a great day. Bye bye.
All right. Thank you very much.
Parijat, I
Enjoy.
have an amazing screenshot to share with you for 200. Diagonally opposite 200s.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. All right.
Okay, bye bye.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
We'll log off. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Take care.
Bye. Take care.
Okay.